morning, gentlemen. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Today is Friday, and you know what that means? That means it is Agent
Agent
Spotlight
Spotlight,
Day.
baby.
So we have the honor and the pleasure to have the amazing Greg Wolf join us. So welcome, sir. I'm clapping for you. Yeah.
Hey. Thank you.
Oh,
Good to be here.
yeah. Greg, I've had the honor and pleasure uh, to talk with you a lot. We have a lot of the same interests, just personally, um, and and that certainly does make it for an easier conversation. But I think we've been chatting for, I mean, heck, even before I, officially came on board over here, so probably at least a year and a half. And I've gotten to know you. You're such a good person, and a humble guy. You care about your family. You talk about your son, and uh, it's it's very refreshing to have someone of your caliber be in business with us. We have a lot of good people here at Keller Williams VIP, a lot, and I say like you're right up there as far as just the man, husband, dad, and agent. So congratulations to you with all your success. And
Thank
I
you.
just want to know, or I have a lot of questions, but I won't ask them all today. Don't worry. Kind of what keeps you going? I see you in the office a lot. What gets you out of bed?
That's a really great question. And I think, part of that starts really, I think there's a natural tension, I think. And if we don't have tension in our life, I don't think there's a reason to get out of bed. In other words, there's a reason why we decide to get up each day. And mine is really my family. I know that I need to provide for my family, and that's a very real responsibility. I know I need to support my kids, and I need to support my wife, and I need to, be involved. And there's intentionality there, and so that to me is what really kind of gets me up and gets me going. I think the other thing is too, there's something intrinsic about business that's I think unique from any other aspect of anything I've been involved with. You know my story. I was in television for 20 years and production and all that. And there's a natural tension there associated with some of the aspects of just being in Hollywood and such that get you going. It's exciting, it's interesting, and that's the way I feel about all of business and investing and real estate investment or stock market investment. It's about knowledge, learning and growing as a person. And I think that's one of the things that we've kind of lost a little bit is, am I growing? What is the purpose? What is my purpose? Am I growing as a human being? Am I growing as an agent? And sometimes that can be overwhelming. People feel like, oh gosh, am I really growing? And so it can be very incremental, I've found. And sometimes I'm really good at starting books. I'm not good at finishing books. So I love like the first 3 chapters, and sometimes I just think going, okay, you've said everything. Now is the next 6 chapters going to be a repeat? So I have a lot of books that I've started and not finished. But what I find is that if I invest the time that I have at that, at whatever level, incrementally, I produce some growth internally. And so that's really kind of is what gets me out of bed. Is there something today that I can, I don't know about you guys, but I think about my life. I think about,
Sure.
my age and things like that. And I go, okay, so I don't know how many years I have left, but so am I incrementally growing into a better person? And that's kind of a cliche thing, but really, are we getting better? Are we doing something that's impacting our family? And that sometimes is very incremental. And sorry to keep using that word, but it's helpful for me because I think if you think, okay, you need to move this 10,000 ton whatever up this hill, and you're going, that's just overwhelming. But if you can say, okay, well, let's compartmentalize this. How can we move a little bit up the hill each day? And I feel like that's personal development 101. If you can develop one little habit and overcome, and I think that's the other part of this, is overcoming whatever that is, self-doubt, fear, anxiety or helplessness, and just even like sitting in on a contracts class, if you've got something that I feel rusty, and this kind of keep bumping up against this, but I'm just being lazy about it. Okay, let's just overcome that one little thing. What is that little section in the contract that it keeps biting me? Maybe it's possession. Maybe it's like, oh, I keep forgetting to add COE plus 3, and at the end of escrow, my clients are freaking out because I forgot to buy them a couple of extra days. How can we incrementally grow personally? How can we incrementally grow in business? And that kind of goes back to, Jeremy, what you and I have talked about, and you too, DJ, is about how do we invest daily?
Yeah.
So I think that's what kind of gets me out of bed. Sorry for that.
No, that's I mean, I got a lot.
Page of notes. I got a page of notes.
I hope everybody was listening, because I mean, there wasn't just one or two things. You said a lot that everybody, if they just listened to one thing, they could take away. Yeah, go for it, Jeremy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing is that, what you said, again, you talk about age, and a lot of times when you're young, it's almost easy to get up and go, like, I want to build this, I want to do this, right? And you're here at this point of success in your life where, you've done a past career, you've created wealth for yourself, you still are building portfolios of wealth to, that I mean, and I don't know it all, but I gotta say, you probably don't need it as much. But you said something very interesting, and I hope everybody got this, is that even today, you're constantly trying to grow and learn. And the moment we stop learning, the moment we that insatiable, and I think that's what makes you so incredible just as a man, is that insatiable palate to want to learn is what drives every day, right? Is that, yeah, I mean, yes, building wealth, yes, taking care of my family, all of those things. But I would go that step deeper of what I heard you just say, and say, it's really that point of learning to grow is really what invigorates, really what gets, because I know you and I have talked a lot about books, and you get a book or I get a book and I'm like, man, did you read this? And we get excited like we're kids at 8 years old and there's a bike on the Christmas tree, right?
But Greg only reads the first 3 chapters. If you talk about chapter 4,
that's all right.
It's over.
I get them in the beginning.
Yeah. I'm really good at the prologue.
Yeah, Greg, and one of the things that stood out what you said was you talked about the natural tension of when you were in Hollywood, and when you are, and then when your second career is real estate. Can you dive a little bit deeper of the natural tension? Because I'm gonna tell you this is the first time I've heard it, and I think it's so good, and I would love for you to elaborate on that.
Well, yeah, I guess natural, unnatural, and is it? Some people might even call it, anxiety. I mean, there's a fear of failure at some level in everybody's heart, probably, and so I think that's a natural tension. I think fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of the future, and how you take control of that. I've found, and I don't have this perfected. I'm just a guy, but how you take control of that is feeding your mind and feeding your future. And so if you don't like your future, change it. I mean, like I said, 20 years in production, vice president level at Comcast, and I got into real estate, and I was not an executive in real estate. I didn't know what I was doing. And first year in 2005, I had like 3 deals my first month, and I just, carried those files around, couldn't figure out what to do with them. And, but I found over the years, if I just dial it back and I say incrementally, what am I going to do, to push the needle forward, to take away the fear? And that's part of that is, like I mentioned, the contracts or the disclosures or things like that, the simple things that you can start to build into to build confidence. And that reduces the anxiety, and then it becomes more of a natural tension, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not an abnormal or because I think anxiety is abnormal for the human experience. We shouldn't be anxious for, the Bible says we shouldn't be anxious for anything. So, that anxiety is not healthy. The stress that's related to anxiety is not healthy. So overcome anxiety. How do you do that? Information is power. Knowledge is power, and you overcome that anxiety. And then you find that where that natural tension is, that you're getting out of bed not out of fear of failure or fear of debt or fear of whatever. You're getting out of bed because there's a natural tension to want to work and want to produce and want to become a step further in your growth. And I think that's the other thing, that I think wealth building, when we talk about wealth building, that is a huge, scary thing. So we have to talk about, like we talked about in the investment class, it's investing daily. How do you do something daily? If you have an addiction to Starbucks, turn it off. Take $5 a day out of your checking account and send it to a Fidelity account or whatever your brokerage account is. Even if you don't invest it, you're saving. So, those kinds of things, that's how you build wealth incrementally. The millionaire next door, things like that. It's very scary when somebody talks about it. And that's why a lot of people don't do it. Oh, I don't know how to invest. I don't have enough money to invest. Well, you know what? Incrementally you do. A couple of bucks here, a couple of bucks there.
Yeah.
So that's my thing, is that, again, reducing anxiety, finding your natural tension line that allows you to get out of bed for the right reasons. And then at the end of the day, when you lay your head on the pillow, you feel like, okay, my natural tension is okay because I've accomplished, I've done it, and it's okay to turn off my cell phone and have family time. It's okay to turn off, and we don't do that perfectly.
No,
That's kind of disingenuous to say, because last night I did have 10:30 p.m. texts from agents. So, but the goal, again, incrementally, the goal is for us to move towards, family and just life, exercise, outdoor activities, things like that, and putting the cell phone away, getting off Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yep. No, it's so good. And so what my takeaway from hearing you is that natural tension is good, and that's what fuels your fire. And so what I would say to everybody here that's watching and listening is, what is your natural tension? What are you using as your fuel to get you through the day? Greg, this has been fantastic.
Man.
Like,
That's
yeah.
perfect. And because he said, you used, I like the synonymous terms of tension and anxiety, because anxiety has a very negative connotation to it, right? And it's want, it's fear of the future, right? Stress, fear of the past, or holding on to the past. Anxiety is fear or stress of the, or looking at the future and being fearful. And what you said was understanding that if the tension is great, the anxiety is not. And how do I get rid of the anxiety? You said two things. What do I need to do to take away that fear, right? To take away that anxiety, and what do I need to learn?
Yeah.
When that anxiety, when people right now, I hope you guys are, because I do it too. And I literally wrote down, this will be a new question for me on a daily basis. If I'm feeling fearful, or when I'm feeling anxious about, any of the businesses and the things that I'm doing, I'm going to ask myself, don't fear the outcome, because that's what I'm worried about, right? I'm going to ask myself, what do I need to learn? And that is, Greg, so powerful.
It really is.
It's a paradigm shift. It's a paradigm shift. I hope everybody's feeling that. Like, my whole world just spun around. I mean, that was amazing. That was incredible, man. Incredible. Thank you so much.
It leads to freedom.
Yes.
The other thing is anxiety leads to blaming. And when we find anxiety in our life, it's easy to blame others for that. And I've experienced that personally. So I just want to share with you that imperfect.
Yeah, for sure.
What I see, and this is just, I think, the revelation of as you walk through life, if you're honest with yourself and you become more honest with yourself about these shortcomings, about the whatever it is, anxiety again is a great tool of despair, and we just can't allow anxiety to rule us. And so how do we change that that landscape? How do we change that paradigm? And really it is getting rid of the blaming aspect of blaming other people for your problems. And that has to do with a whole set of baggage from the past. And, you know, we can all live there. We could all say, woulda, coulda, shoulda. You know, I had a friend that would constantly tell me whenever we would talk about real estate, he goes, "Oh, I should have told you about this one property. You know, it was only 500 grand. And I was going to get it, but this guy really kind of screwed me out of the deal. And now it's worth $10 million. It's like, whoa. It's like, and his anxiety was so fresh. It was like fresh blood. I was like, wait, did this guy just cut you? What happened? You know, because it was just right there, just boom. And I thought, this is insane. That level of anger, frustration, and stuff, and blaming others for your lot in life, it's like, get over it. You know, just learn a little bit. And so that to me has been, and I'm speaking to myself. I'm not speaking to you guys. I'm saying that's the message that I've said in my life. Get over myself, get over blaming others, and what is it that I can take responsibility for in my life today? And this is a constant. You know, it's like taking a rake to your yard. The leaves are falling. It's a constant raking of the leaves and life maintenance. You know, it really is. And that's just the reality. And you know what? The other thing, we've all talked about this before too, is it's partnership. You know, you got to have a partner in this life, mentor. And mentorship is the way that I think we all get. And when you get out of sync, all this stuff starts to come up. You know, anxiety is when you don't have a mentor that's down the road a few steps ahead of you that can help you answer a question. And that's what I love about Keller Williams. That's why I've been here since 2013, is because there's mentorship, there's friendship, there's help. And so anyway, all that to kind of.
So good, Greg. Oh, absolutely. You know what? Say no more. You did it. Mic drop. Fantastic. I hope everybody has their pen and papers out to take notes. Greg, you are. You left me speechless. You left me freaking speechless. Yeah. So I just want to say cheers to you, sir. Thank you so much for being our guest today.
Greg, thank you.
So many gold nuggets. So you're the man, and keep up the tremendous work that you are doing. You're having a great home stretch of the year. Very, very proud. And that's all I got. Fantastic. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Greg.
Good to be with you guys.
Good stuff.